Hello everyone, it's Michelle, and on this ARK Genesis 2 video, I'm going to be showing you where and how to get element in the map. So let's go ahead and get started. Before I begin, I just want to say that this is an actual re-upload because it was brought to my attention by some of my commenters that there's actually a better way that you can get element. So this is a re-upload, and this is me showing you the even better ways to get element. So let's go ahead and get started. One of the fastest ways that you can get element is by actually going to the very middle of the map, the thing that bridges the gap between the left-hand side and the right-hand side of the map. You can see where I'm located on the map itself, and here's my GPS coordinates at 50.6 by 49.2. But again, it's not very difficult to find. This is the asteroid space location where you see the Astradelphus and the space whales and the new wyverns that are in game. And here's the thing with this area here. The resources that you find in this area rotate out. So it's actually not the same resource every single time. The first time that I went to this area, I looked at it and I saw a bunch of oil and I thought, hey, this is actually where you get oil. Well, no, not really, because at 0000 time in game, the map rotates. This area here rotates. The resources change out. The terrain actually changes out as well too. So it does not stay the same. And every single time you get a different resource. So you have a chance of getting element shards and element dust and element to spawn in here. It is a little bit rarer than some of the other spawns that you can get that rotate out, but again, you need to wait a whole day and night cycle. You need to wait until it's 0000 time in game in order for this to rotate out. So you are going to have to wait a little bit of time. It is going to be a time sink in order for you to get the rotation of element. And here you can see that it's reached 0000 time in game, and when this happens, it's going to start spinning. I highly recommend that you are not in that area when it starts spinning because there's a good chance that you could die. So don't be in that area when it is spinning, because what's happening is all of the terrain is now gone. It's vanished. It's a simulation. So what's going to happen is there's going to be new terrain that is put in its place as well as new resources. So it's not always going to be the same resource in the asteroid belt, as I call it, or the space part biome. So you have to let this rotate, and when the time reaches 1:30 in game, it will stop spinning. You'll get a lot of different types of resources too, so don't be worried that you don't get the element straight off. You'll get anything from oil to crystal to even black pearls as a rotation. And guys, it's going to take you a while to get to that rotation, but there's 2 rotations that you can look forward to in the asteroid belt that will yield element. And this is the first rotation that you can look forward to. The best way to know that you're in it is by looking at the ground and seeing it's quite flat. And you're going to see these piles that are kind of green metallic looking. And guys, it's element dust. I don't know if you saw that, but in the bottom left hand corner as I'm going around, I'm just pressing E with my hand to pick this up, by the way. I did pick up a piece of element. I'm going to use the mining drill to show you that it does harvest it a little bit better. But this is not the best rotation that you can get out of the asteroid belt. But it is still incredibly interesting, because look at that. There's one element right there. Not only am I picking up element dust, and I'm actually picking up quite a bit of element dust here, I'm also picking up already crafted pieces of element. And I had 2 in my inventory just there. And just by going around just a little bit here, I'm going to be picking up quite a bit of element dust and element that I can use to power my tech gear. Now again, this is not the best method, this is not the fastest way to get element, but this is a darn good one. You're already getting crafted pieces of element, which is absolutely insane. I highly recommend that if you get a rotation like this, do not leave it until you've harvested everything. However, you're going to have to be careful because there are the new tech wyverns that are in this area, as well as the space dolphins, the Astradelphus, and the space whales themselves too, that you need to be looking out for. There are things in here that will want to attack you, so just be careful with that as well too. But if you get a rotation like this, definitely harvest as much as humanly possible. So this is the rotation that you're looking for, these blue-green crystals. And I'm going to use my mining drill on this, and you can see that I'm picking up a lot of element shards. I'm going to switch over to my pick. I'm just going to drop this stone real quick. Guys, I've already picked up over 1,000 element shards. And you can see that with a pick, I am not only harvesting element shards, but I'm also harvesting element. I thought that this was absolutely insane, and I could not believe this when I found this rotation. This is an absolutely stupid amount of element. Not only element that is already crafted, but element shards as well too. And you can see how the mining drill compares to using a regular pick. The mining drill seems to be a little bit quicker, but the pick seems to yield a little bit more element as I hit it. Now, somebody in the comments on my previous video also mentioned, hey, go up to it and punch it with the tech suit. So, let's try that out. Let's see what happens when you go up to these crystal nodes and you punch it with your suit. I'm just going to go ahead and grab my gasoline back from here. And when you go up to the nodes, and I go to punch it, look at how much I get. 16 element, 916 element shards. So that's 9 element in element shards as it is. And guys, look how fast it is with punching. This is absolutely insane. If any of you get this rotation, consider this an absolute blessing. And I would recommend that you have a creature in here, because I'm already overburdened. Like, I can't really carry much more. And I already have so much element as it is. If you get this rotation, abuse it. Absolutely take advantage of this situation and grab as much element shards as humanly possible until you're absolutely sick of it, and grab all that element. Because look at that. All of that element that I have right there, I already almost have enough to make myself like a tech replicator. It's insane. This is the fastest way in any of the ARK expansions I've seen to get element. Absolutely love it. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of the other ways that you can get element in game 2, which are not as great, but hey, they still give you element. The way that you can make element as well too is by going into your engram points and go ahead and type in the word element. And at level 58, you can learn the unstable element, and it costs 1000 element dust to craft one unstable element, which will then spoil in your inventory to create one element. Probably one of the more time-consuming methods that you can use, but hey, because of the rotation in the asteroid belt or in the space biome part, where you can see the space dolphins, you can now grab a lot of element dust, which if you get that rotation and you happen to have a lot of element dust, well, go ahead and use that element dust to create your unstable element. But you can also get element dust in a couple of other ways on the map. You can go around the map and you can kill tech dinos, but this is going to take a while and it's not going to yield that much element, and I don't really recommend it. Or you could go around, kill the occasional enforcer, or hey, even the new tech wyvern in the space biome to give element dust. Now, over time, you'll build up more and more element dust, and then you can take that and you can make regular element in your own inventory. So that's something that you can do. However, it takes a long time. Something else that people have pointed out to me in the past is you can get a gacha that can make element dust. But the problem with that is that it takes a very long time, and to get fast results with element, you might want to do something else, which is finding element shards and converting element shards into element. Now, this is the other way that you could get element shards in ARK Genesis 2, and this is actually with the carnivorous plants. What I'm looking at right here are the carnivorous plants, and these guys yield element shards. So, if you are not lucky enough to get the rotation in the asteroid space biome location that gives you element dust or element shards, what you want to do is you want to go to the left-hand side of the map, and you can see where I'm at on the left-hand side. Basically, guys, you want to look for orange trees in order to find the correct carnivorous plants. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my GPS as well, too, so you can see my exact location. And I'm at 50.5 by 37.4. These carnivorous plants here will actually yield element shards. So this is actually what you want to harvest when you're not lucky enough to get the rotation in the asteroid biome that give you element and element shards or element dust. Now, onto the best way to harvest this to go ahead and get us the most amount of element. And behind me, you can see a whole slew of creatures here. To put it plain and simply, I tested pretty much every creature you could imagine. I even tested the Strider, the new creature in game with the ability to harvest. And I will say this, out of every single one of the creatures that I've tested, the mantis is the best. I've tested the theory, a dire wolf, the mantis, an Anki, Doedicurus, saber, beaver, and even a Carno, yeah. But I went ahead and I put the Mastercraft pick on the mantis, and I put a regular pick, and yes, I know that I could even up melee damage, but here's the thing. Out of all the creatures, it's not a creature that you want to use to harvest the element shards, it's actually a chainsaw. And before you mention mining drill, I just want to tell you guys this. A mining drill does not work on these, which is really unfortunate. I would have really liked for the mining drill to have worked, but the best thing that you can use on this is actually a chainsaw. So let's go ahead and harvest this right here. And in my inventory, I not only got element shards, but I also got black pearls as well too. Let me go ahead and dump this so I have a clear inventory so you can see what I get off of the next one. So again, this is with my chainsaw. I only have gasoline in my inventory. Go up to these carnivorous plants, and you'll get your element shards. Now remember guys, 100 element shards equals 1 element. And this is going to be the fast way to do it. However, the black pearls are going to be the thing that weighs you down. So if you want to go ahead and dump those for now, go ahead and do that. And get rid of all the spoiled meat as well too. Go ahead and collect as much as possible. And to be fair, if you just see the orange trees and you go around those orange trees, you'll find these things all around the map. They're not hard to find. They're actually quite easy to locate. Let me go ahead and take my element back and my element dust that I harvested earlier. And like I said, go up to all these and harvest them with a chainsaw. And just to show you, I'll grab the actual mantis and I'll show you what it can do. So with the mantis, and again, this is with a Mastercraft pick, again, you can use something different, and you can level up its melee damage, but the chainsaw just does so much more. The chainsaw is the better way to go. Unless you have been purposely breeding mantises with melee damage in them, then by all means, use that. So now let's go ahead and convert our element shards and our element dust that we got into some elements. The next thing that you want to do is you want to go into your mission list and you want to go ahead and track a mission. And it doesn't matter if you're on the left-hand side of the map or the right-hand side of the map. You'll have a couple of these terminals right here, and this is what you do to actually complete your missions, but this also acts as a spot where you can make your element.
From the ship's database. Huh. Wonder who logged this one.
And like I said, you can find them on both the left-hand side of the map and on the right-hand side of the map. It doesn't matter which one you use, you just need to find a terminal spot like this. So once you make it to one of the terminals on either side of the map, what you then want to do is go ahead and take your element shards and put them into this mission terminal here. And again, this is where you do your missions themselves.
Another journal entry from the ship's database. Huh. Wonder who logged this one.
Once you've placed your element shards in there, go ahead into the tech spot, and here we go. You can make your element here. But again, this is going to be a very crowded area, especially if you're on a PvP server. So let's go ahead and make up that element, and it crafts one at a time. You cannot queue up more than one at a single time. Go ahead and take that, and look at that, guys. You got some element right there. The other way to do it, and again, this is the slower method, is by taking the element dust that I showed you with killing the enforcers and with the tech dinos, and you can create the unstable element. However, you have to not only craft the unstable element, but that unstable element also has to spoil in your inventory, and then it'll count. Now keep in mind, again, that the tech replicator costs 100 element to start with, and then 1 element to power it. So really, you need to make about 101 element to get yourself a tech replicator to start off with, and then you can put that wherever your base is and make your element that much faster, so you don't have to go to one of these little terminals. You can make it right at your base. And there is your unstable element right there. And you can see that the spool timer's going down, so it then is going to craft into our single piece of element. There are other ways too that you can earn element in the game that I haven't mentioned, and that is with HLNA. Now, if you are taking your character from ARK Genesis 1 and you're transferring it over to ARK Genesis 2, and you had some hexagons from the previous missions in the first Genesis game, those will actually carry over to ARK Gen 2. And here's the thing, if you go into the HLNA shop,
some hexagons you're keen to spend?
well, guess what? It's still a thing. and you can buy one element for 2,000 hexagons. In my opinion, that's a little bit pricey, and that money could be spent elsewhere, but that is still an option for you. So if you have plenty of hexagons saved over, you can go ahead and purchase those. Really quick, I want to go ahead and interject and say that if you are on console, you do not have all of the options yet in the HLNA that we do have on PC. So please keep that in mind that you will not be able to buy yours as of just yet, because it seems to be that you can only get your Ingram points if you want.
Let's do this again.
And there we go, I got one element off of that. Like I said, that's another way to do it. It's a little bit pricier. And there is one last way that I have seen us getting element, and that is actually with the red drops. The red drops, as you can see off in the distance, those have a very slim, and I am saying a very slim chance of actually giving you element. Do not count on it, but there is a possibility, there is a chance that you can actually pick up already crafted element out of those red drops. And they look like this. They look just like the crash pods off of Extinction, actually. And you can go up to them and you can access the inventory, and they'll have various different things in each one of them. And like I said, you're not guaranteed to get it, but this one actually has some tech stuff already as it is. So there you go. And that, guys, is how to make element and where to find element shards in ARK Genesis 2. I really hope this video has been helpful for you. If it has, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more notifications of when I upload next. Thank you very much for your support, and I'll see you next time.